We're almost there. Gosh, people, you were so patient with us.
We're musicians, not computer people.
I can't wait. I don't see the green. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Woo! Let the party begin.
We can't wait to be in the classroom with your children. Wait.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for your patience. We want to make sure that our information is accessible to as many people as possible because it's so exciting. I want to introduce you first to our new VAPA coordinator, Visual and Performing Arts coordinator, Miss Amy Martinez. She's not able to be here this evening, but she has been just a dream to work with and is making our jobs so much nicer. And I hope you get a chance to meet her. So, and then as we continue with our team, there we go. Okay. So Miss Cooley and I teach at 5 schools. She does strings, I do band, and we cover Patwin, Pioneer, Korematsu, Chavez, and Willett elementary schools. So if that's your school, these are your teachers. We also have at Montgomery, we have Miss Bistolfo. She teaches it all. So she's pretty phenomenal. We've got Miss Kraft and Mr. Tan, who are both at Birch Lane and North Davis. Miss Kraft is going to teach band and Mr. Tan is going to teach your string classes. So we are just so thrilled with our team this year. Everybody is just so fun to work with and you will really enjoy them. So here's an overview of the program as a whole. We hope you have a good sense of this. You signed up. So we hope you know what you signed up for. For the string students, they can play in 4th, 5th, or 6th grade. They can start with violin, viola, cello. When they get to 5th and 6th grade, they can add the double bass. That is not an electric bass like Led Zeppelin. It is the double bass like this guy over here. For 5th and 6th graders, we have the band instruments, flute, clarinet, trumpet, trombone, snare drum. If you have played clarinet for a year, then we would invite you to play also an alto saxophone, but you need that experience first. Each week, we're going to ask your student to come to the music room for 30 minutes once a week. When we have our beginner classes, our beginners are in a class with students on the same instrument. So I have a room full of flutes. Miss Cooley has a room full of violins, right? They're all learning on the same instrument so that it's an easier activity for them. I'm not giving flute fingerings as well as trumpet fingerings at the same time. It's less confusing. Continuers get to work as an ensemble. So all the band instruments are together, all the string instruments are together in one lovely large ensemble, and that's also once a week. We have 2 formal concerts each year. Late January, early February is our spring concert, and then we have, winter concert, and then in May, we have spring concerts. There are, if you have one of those coaches that says, if you miss this game, if you miss this practice, you're going to be 3rd string the rest of the year. You're not going to play, right? You're going to be on the bench. We have some papers that you can give them to say, no, this concert is a school event that my child really needs to go to. And you can't punish him on my team for that. So if you need those as the year goes on, just ask us, let us know. We have those. There was something else you wanted to say about continuing
students, those that come with experience.
If you have a child who already has some experience on their instrument, they've taken private lessons, you've come from a different school district, even if they are in a grade that we would consider a beginner, please come and talk to us or send us an email. We will make sure that your child gets in the class that is appropriate to their skill level at that point. All right. This was. And here's Mr. Tan.
All right. So I'm just going to talk about practicing real quick. And I know for many students, this is probably your least favorite part. But I can tell you why you want to practice. So reason number one, you probably don't know how to practice at the beginning, and you probably don't know what to do within that 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So we will show you. So we'll show you what to do within that 15 or even 10 or even 30 minutes. Reason number two, it's time. So if you have time to do soccer practice, soccer tournament, swim practice, or if you even have time to play Valorant for 15 minutes a day, then you must have time to practice your instrument. Reason number three, you might want to boost your confidence. You know, at the beginning, you might have trouble with feeling confidence about yourself. So what do? You practice. So that will boost your confidence, right? So like me, when I first came to this country, right, I wasn't confident about the way I spoke English, so I kept practicing. And at home, I'm not feeling confident about cooking, so I keep practicing cooking. And same goes to you. If you're not feeling confident about playing instruments, then go practice. And I can guarantee that your confidence level will increase a lot. Right. All right. And then what do we have next? You might be interested in experiencing a healthy amount of competition, right? So let me just clarify here. We're not looking for the type of competition that you want to compare yourself to another one of your classmates that plays better than you, right? We're not looking for that. In that specific classmate can definitely inspire you to practice, but we're not looking for that kind of competition. So what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for how hard you work, right? How much effort you put into this. So you can certainly be inspired by maybe one of your buddies that worked really, really hard, and you want to just work as hard as your buddy. So that might be another reason you want to practice. Anyway, so next is your instruments. So remember, students here, your instrument is not a toy. So you want to take care of it. Your instrument is your baby, is your buddy, is your partner, right? The better you treat your instruments, the better the instrument will work with you, right? Now, attending all concerts here, so I don't have to explain a lot more about this. If your friends, if your buddies watch you perform, they come to your concert, well, you have to go to their concerts, just to show your support, right? And then lastly for this slide, right? So commit for the school year. So at the beginning, I'm sure a lot of you guys will have doubt, a little bit of doubt about the instrument that you picked. You might feel like this is not the cup of tea, not your cup of tea. But you never know, because sometimes you need time in order to really, really know whether this is the right instrument for you. So that's why we asked you to commit to the entire school year. And by the end of the year, you never know. Perhaps you will really, really like it by the end of the year, right? Okay, so for the next slide, just some expectation from parents here. As a parent and a teacher myself, what did I learn all these years? It takes a village to raise a kid, right? So your efforts, your support doesn't need to be monumental, right? It can be really something really, really small, like reminding your kid to bring the instrument to school, help them transport a large instrument to school, like a saxophone or a bass or a cello, right? Or you can simply just provide them a quiet space to practice, and that kind of support will be already very, very beneficial to the students, right? And again, attend their concerts, just like when you attend their soccer tournament and their swing practice, right? Same thing. You attend their concert, show your support, and work with them and together, and so that they can commit to the year. Like I said before, they will need time in order to know whether this is the right instrument for them or not. Like, okay, so thank you.
Just to piggyback on what Mr. Tan was saying, our kiddos will love our lessons. They will love to practice the first month and a half, 2 months. As soon as it starts getting a little bit more challenging, they'll plateau. They'll be like, I can go without. I can go without. And then right before concert, many will feel a little bit nervous and say, oh, actually, this was never my thing. Mom, you made me sign up. So they will want to bail on you, and it's very normal. We as teachers, we see that progression. We ask you, let them finish the race, and the race ends at the concert. So if your kid is just for some reason miserable, please help them make it all the way to the first concert. Most likely they'll change their mind. They'll say, you know what, it wasn't so bad. I was on the stage with 100 students and I felt really, really good. It's very normal for them to feel discouraged. And at that point, we as parents go, oh, it was amazing squeak. This squeak was better than yesterday's squeak. You keep going. Sometimes they just need to figure out how heavy is heavy, how light is light. So we support them. Smile. Yep, you keep going. So that was as a parent to parent. But here's how to obtain an instrument. There are three ways to obtain. Number one, your family, friends, the circle of family and friends may already have something deep down in their closet, and they forget, and you don't know that. So someone who's played an instrument and maybe stopped, their child might still have an instrument. So it's a good conversation starter to email or to text and say, hey, do you by any chance have a flute or a double bass in the closet? So check with your friends and family. The next step is to rent one from a reputable local music store. For us here in Davis is Watermelon Music. They're fantastic. They're a business, but they're more than that. They're really more family and education oriented. They've been doing wonders and supporting our families here in Davis for years. So we highly recommend them. They are in the lobby, and they're happy to help you with books and maybe stands. Having a stand, a place that's designated for practice is always good. So that's another place to go. We do ask that you rent or you borrow at this point and not purchase. We don't know if this is going to be the love of their life. If you purchase a half-size cello, your child will outgrow it in a year, and then you're kind of stuck with it. If you have a younger sibling, they're kind of slated to play it. But if you don't, now you have an instrument in your closet. So that's another way to obtain an instrument, is to rent one from the store. We heard that Watermelon Music might have some wait list on certain instruments, so do inquire, ask them and see what's available. We do have some other stores around. If you're in Sacramento area, there's Klein Music, there's Tim's Music, but do check in with Watermelon Music if you're choosing to rent. The third way to obtain an instrument is to borrow one from the district. We have a limited amount of instruments, limited amount of certain size of instruments available for families to borrow free of charge for the duration of the school year. We're hoping to prioritize for need-based first. So if it's a family for whom renting would present a financial hardship, we would like to prioritize for those families. So that's why we had the questions that we ask you. Are you planning on renting? Would you like to apply for a lottery? It would be nice to have a free instrument if I don't have to rent, right? But I'm not in that category of I must have it, or otherwise we cannot have our child in the program. So there was another question about instruments that possibly was confusing. That email that came in. All of your children are enrolled. So if you filled out the enrollment form, they are enrolled. We want all of them in the music program. There are some certain instruments that we have I was going to say lack of, but instead we're going to say we have abundance of cello students, abundance of students who signed up to play cello. We unfortunately don't have as many cellos to offer. So for those students, we're asking, what is your second choice? We still want you in music, and we know you're going to benefit and you're going to have a blast doing this, but maybe not cello. If not cello, what's your second choice? So you may have been that family who have received that notice. That's what it was for. And I'm going to tell you that last year we had the same thing happen with basses. For some reason, last year was a bass year. It was a popular instrument. Everybody wanted to play that big instrument, and all the parents went, this is the one you really want? Are you sure? Have you seen it? So parents, for those of you, if you're worried about transportation, it is bulky. It's not that heavy. It is a little bulky. If you're transporting that instrument, you could lower your front seat in the Camry, and it does fit. It's possible you lose 2 seats, but it is possible. So last year we had shortage of basses. And so this one child said, well, cello was my second choice. And you know what? He fell in love with cello this year. I said, hey, we have basses. Would you like it? Nope, I'm sold out on cello now. So you just never know. But that's where we are with instruments, district instruments. You have choice to if you're not sure and you would like to be put on the instrument lottery, we will let you know by the 18th of September where you stand. So you still have that time from the 18th to the week of the 25th of September to obtain an instrument from maybe a rental or change your mind. So that's where we are with instruments. I hope I covered that. If you have any questions afterwards, insurance, thank you. I thought I did. The wait list and Watermelon and Klein music stores. So inquire with them, ask them about your specific instrument and see if there's a wait list on those. There's a pros and cons in renting versus just borrowing a district instrument. Rental stores usually have an insurance or damage insurance that you kind of pay into. You maybe add $2 or $3 more to the rental, but that way you can sleep at night. Should something happen, they will cover the damage or the or might be able to replace an instrument or fix it for you. With district instruments, we unfortunately don't have that capability. So we send you to an insurance company that is most reasonable one for student instruments. The one that we found is called Anderson's Group. That insurance, I believe, is $60 to $70 premium a year. So that will cover you between now all the way to end of May. Should something happen, there is $100 deductible. So it's one of those decisions that you have to make for yourselves. I always compare it to a car rental. You know, if you rent a car, I would always opt to have an insurance, and my husband's like, we're fine, we don't need it. So it's on your family. You decide what works for you regarding that. Let's see. All right, please do not purchase an instrument. They may not have fallen in love with it quite yet. All right. Storage and transport. So we're going to briefly talk about it. And I apologize, friends on Zoom, you may not be able to see all of the instrument demonstrations. There are some certain things to keep in mind for each instrument. For woodwind instruments, so if your child is playing flute or clarinet, am I forgetting something?
Just in the chat, some people want to know how much it is to rent an instrument.
How much it is to rent an instrument? Thank you. Typical rental is between $20 and $30 a month. And then they go up based on the instrument. So if you are borrowing a cello, that would be a more expensive rental than, say, violin. Really quick, if you have a woodwind instrument, they have keys, and those keys will have pads in them, and they will have strings. So those are the parts that are really fragile. We don't want to put the instrument on its keys or just grab. There's an important key called bridge key on a clarinet, and it's very easy to bend it. So when your child goes to school, the very first lesson is about assembly. Please ask them, show me, how do you assemble this instrument? Show me the bridge key. Show me how not to break this thing. What is the most fragile part of the instruments? Those are great questions to ask of your child after their first lesson. Same with flute. Trumpets and trombones, they come with a mouthpiece. Sometimes the trumpet players are like, hey, this is the easiest assembly. Look at this, pop. is the first step, just one step. Just put the mouthpiece in, and then the overachievers sometimes add the second step, and they jam it in there. If they do, the mouthpiece is stuck, and now you will need a mouth puller or a really good dentist to get it out. The child will not be able to close the case. The trumpet will stick out, and so they'll be carrying it kind of funky, and you'll know, oh, you did that extra step, don't do that again. So sometimes the instruments will come with a snake. It is not a spare snake for you to use in the sink. It is a snake to use for the instrument, which we do not teach children until at the end of the year. So please don't let them mess with it. Don't let them use it. It's clean enough. It looks okay. So no snake usage. And they come with valve oil. That's an important thing to keep in mind as well. So your teachers will teach your students how to assemble the instrument. All of them, especially string instruments, all of them will respond to temperature. That is like the most temperamental toddler you will ever own in your house. They will be really, really sensitive to temperatures. Do not ever leave them in the car. Please don't ever leave them in the car. You know, we're like, oh, it's California, it's nice and comfy. Well, it gets to 100 degrees. We would never leave a baby in a 100-degree car. These are babies. They're even more temperamental. The varnish will melt and look as it looks ugly, and there's no way to fix it. It's just you have to revarnish the whole instrument. So never leave your instruments in the car. For string instruments, or for all of them, you think about your child's, consider their transportation. If they are a biker, you could bike with a clarinet. Clarinet is a small case. You could put it inside the backpack. Flute, you can bike with. Violins and violas, you could bike if you have a basket. What we ask is this: children put the instrument on their back as a backpack, and put the backpack in the basket. So you can wrap it up somehow. You should never bike with a cello or a double bass for your own safety. Please don't do that. Saxophones are big cases, and they look like, well, it's sturdy enough. They're really heavy. And it's it will put the child unbalanced. And same with trombones. They're just big and bulky. Once a week, perhaps your child can get a ride from you or get a carpool from somebody else. Some parents talk to the teacher in the school office, and they drop off an instrument before school starts, and then they pick it up at the end of the day. So if you need to make that arrangement, that's something that people have done. People also have carpooled with all these big bulky instruments. Am I missing anything else? Okay. Violins will come. One second. Violins and violas will come with a sponge. It's not the same as the dish sponge, so it's very dry. I cut it. It's like a craft sponge that you can make little pillows with. I cut them to fit the instruments, and they're there to ensure that the child is not playing like this, because this would be very unhealthy. We want to make sure we promote really good posture right from the start. So all violins, violas, unless they have very short necks, should have some sort of a support. So when your child's like, I'm lazy, I have to put this on and stretch it on with rubber bands, sometimes they just don't want it because of laziness. Let them practice with proper postures. Speaking of postures, we're really sticklers for that, because this is where they begin developing habits. We don't want them in high school practicing 2 to 4 hours a day with terrible habits. They will injure themselves. So if for all of these instruments, except for cello and maybe saxophone, they should be standing to practice. So definitely no couch, no slouching. They will tend to slouch. So please have them stand up to practice. I think that's all.
Fix anything yourself.
Right, and you can see that if you see a funky posture, they should not be doing this. All postures should be natural and healthy, and then the instrument goes next. If something goes wrong, if something goes wrong with an instrument, whether it's a rental, whether it's a borrowed district instrument or your own, please email us. Let us know. This thing fell off. Is it supposed to be glued? Parents, if you're a dad in the room who just loves to fix things, you're a carpenter, you're like, I'll fix it yourself type of dad, please don't. My dad did that. And there's some parts on the instruments that are just not supposed to be glued. It's okay. They're held by the tension of the string. So just let us know. There's some things we can fix in class, and there's some things we might send you to a luthier to fix. So please let us know if anything goes wrong. Please don't try to fix it yourself. I think that is all on instrument care. All right. Would you like to take care of the next one? Yeah.
If you're here, you probably already enrolled. Congratulations. Our class assignments are going to be emailed the week of September 18th. So next week we will start compiling our schedules and sending them to their classroom teachers and to you. Lessons will begin the week of September 25th. So maybe not that day, but throughout that week. And please do not open your instrument until your first lesson. This is especially for beginners. So if this is a new instrument for you, wait, because we will show you how to properly open the case, which seems like a problem you might try to solve on your own time, but just wait for us to do it with you. If you are a continuing student on your instrument, you already know how to open your case, and by all means, you may start reviewing your favorite repertoire from last year. But again, those beginners, wait until their first lesson so that we can make sure that we don't start with an accident. So what else would you need? You'll need the lesson book for your instrument. So if you are in the band program, the book is Tradition of Excellence, 2nd edition, and there will be either a picture of the instrument or some writing that says exactly what kind of instrument. So if you play trombone, you want Tradition of Excellence, 2nd edition, trombone version. If you are percussion, you're going to want the percussion version, and we try to ask that you buy the percussion that has all parts in it, right? Not just the snare. Because there's an edition that is only snare, we would like that you get the ones that have snare and triangle and mallets all inside of it. You'll be able to tell because it's spiral bound. It's just thicker. It's just thicker. If you are a strings musician and you are beginning, you will start the year with a packet provided from us. Midway through the year, probably after the first concert in about January, we will transition to Violin Book 1 of Orchestra Expressions. This is the tricky part right here, is making sure that you get the correct instrument. And again, this is Beginner Strings Book 1. All of this is on our website, so if you feel confused, refer to our website and then email us if you're still feeling a little confused. If you are a continuing string student, you probably already have Sound Innovations. In this top right-hand corner, you will see the instrument and then which book it is, and we have Book 1. From there, we start to launch into repertoire that we give to the students. So these really are the only books that we will be requesting. Oh, and put your name on it. It seems so simple, but the books walk away and you don't want that. So just put the name in, and that way we can get it back to your student. You will need a name tag for the case. That can be either a name tag from a luggage tag, or you could do just a really strong piece of tape. If you're a strings player, we would like rosin. Rosin comes in a couple different shapes and sizes. If you're feeling a little stuck, you can email your strings teacher. Strings players, please cut your fingernails, keep them short. Otherwise, you will not be able to press down on the fingerboard very well. For clarinet and saxophones, you're going to need reeds, cork grease, and a swab. Reeds usually start at about a 2 and a 2.5 size because they come in different hardnesses. So you are going to want a lower hardness at a 2 or a 2.5 to begin. The cork grease might look like a little chapstick, but it's not a chapstick. So just get a real cork grease and a swab. For trumpet and trombone, valve oil is helpful, and there will be possibly a specific slide grease. Some instruments don't use all of the same thing. So you could look up trumpet slide grease or trombone slide grease or ask Watermelon Music, and they'll send you on the right direction. Going back to posture, if you have a great place to practice at home, it could be that you just tape your music to the wall and you play there. Or like this, trombone, really a lot harder to play near the wall. So I would recommend a music stand. Ask around. That's the kind of thing that sometimes people just have left over in their homes. It might be something you purchase, or you could ask your music teacher to see if they've got a supply that they could borrow or find one for you. This goes back to playing with great posture. So if we're putting our music on the table and then looking down, it crunches the whole system down, and then we end up having to correct that problem in class. Moving on to All City.
For our continuing students, and I'm just wondering if there's a way to move this. I don't think we need to see that. There. I don't think I turned anything off. Okay. Continuing students, we have all city groups. So there's all city orchestra that, and all of the all city groups are on Wednesday afternoons, and that little pocket from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock that they would have normally been in school. So it's kind of slick that way. All city orchestra practices right here on Wednesdays, and all city band practices in the Patwin MPR. So this is for our continuing 6th grade students. This year, brand new, we're also going to be offering an all city choir that Miss Kraft is going to be doing. Where'd she go? And so if you don't have a continuing 6th grader, you might want to try all city choir. That's going to be for 4th and 5th and 6th graders. The cool thing about all city is that it's a larger ensemble. It includes students from all over the district. So if you have friends, let's say you go to Birch Lane and you've got friends at Willett that you don't always see, well, now you get to see them on Wednesdays and play music together. As for example, the band, sometimes we have kind of odd instrumentation in our continuing classes at the school. Last year I had kind of a small group at one of my schools that was 4 clarinets and a saxophone. So it's a little hard to pick or to hear the different parts, because that's what we do, right? We do ensemble work. So different instruments have different parts to play to make it fuller and more interesting. Well, if you've only got 2 instruments in your continuing group, it's a little bit difficult to hear all those parts. Most of those students came to All City, where we had also trumpets and flutes and drums and, you know, clarinets and saxophones, the whole thing, trombones. So you get a more balanced group to play with. We play different music than what we would do in class, so they get exposure to different styles and different composers. We also have a couple of extra chances to perform with that group. So one of the concerts that the All City Groups does is at the big stage at the Mondavi. How cool is that for a kid, right? Playing at Mondavi. If you are a 6th grade student, your child is a 6th grade student, we do recommend that you try and make some connections with your junior high music counterparts. We will be doing the side-by-side concerts in the winter. So the concerts we do in the winter are with the junior high school students that your school is supposed to feed into, right? So if you're a Montgomery student, your school generally goes to Harper. So the Montgomery students come the night that the Harper band is there. So make some friends with some of those students at those concerts. So you have a friend when you get to junior high that's already there in the band with you, or the orchestra. We also are posting the concert dates for the junior high schools on our website. So you can go to the concerts of that junior high and see what you're in store for in the future. And that's a lot of fun. As for band instruments in particular, you can start thinking about what we call a secondary instrument. I've had a couple people ask me about playing an oboe. An oboe is a very complex instrument to play, so it's not one that we offer as a beginning instrument, but it's definitely something that they would love to see you play in junior high. If you are drawn to an oboe, you should maybe play a clarinet here in elementary school. But there are also very cool things like bass clarinet, twice as big as a regular clarinet, bari saxophone, which is huge, tubas, baritones, bassoons, very cool secondary instruments that expand your talents and your love of playing music. There's also information in the lobby. We have tutoring available for both our string instruments and our band instruments provided by students from here at the high school who can, I don't know all the details, like it says there, we don't really know all the details about it. Get a flyer. It's a great addition for your child and less expensive than private lessons, but it gives them a chance to meet one-on-one with a more experienced musician and expand their knowledge and their skills. We love music. It's our job, but it's our passion. And I know you've heard the saying before, do something you love and you never work a day in your life, right? That's our lives. We love music. And we believe that music for our students is just a nice break from sitting at a desk in their classroom. They get to come see friends from different classes, play music together. We get to use both sides of our brain. Music is a very creative endeavor, but it's very logical. It's very mathematically based. And so we're connecting both sides of our brain. It's an auditory event. So we are building those auditory listening skills because they have to hear what everybody else is doing in order to blend and balance and be part of that group. We've got the all city groups for the continuers. And in fact, music can be just a lifetime for you and your children, a lifetime of fun, a lifetime of friendships. I met my husband in a band. You never know, right? Hey, that guy's cute. And just musical adventures, right? When you get to high school, they do tours. Some of them go to Europe, some of them go to Canada, some of them go to Hawaii. You never know what the year is that you're there, but they get to take tours and go perform in different areas, which is very cool. You've already enrolled, right? So you can check our website. Let's see if, I don't know if it's going to scan. There we go. Look at that. We're almost done and I'm finally figuring it all out. That's the QR code to go to the elementary music website with all the information that we talked about tonight. And it's got all the dates of our concerts for this year. We will also be giving those to your students in the first day of class. We really would like you to put those dates on your family calendars now so that they are blocked out and we don't accidentally take a trip or schedule a birthday party or something when we should be at a concert. We communicate a lot through email. So please keep an eye on your emails from us. Our lessons, as Ms. Bistolfo mentioned, are going to start the week of September 25th. You should be getting an email from your specific teacher next week to tell you the day and the time for your child's lesson. We will also be sending the emails next week to let you know about the availability of instruments if you ask for a district instrument. We should be getting that information out by early next week. Make sure you've completed our parent agreement form. It's the little half sheet that was out at the front. By signing that, you're acknowledging that this is a year-long commitment and endeavor. It takes the family support to really help the children. As Ms. Cooley said, in a couple of months, they're going to say, this is hard. I'm done. Don't let them, okay? Help them over that hump. We only get to see them 30 minutes a week. You get to see them a lot more than that. They need to practice. They need to practice to get those fingerings embedded and automatic. It's not going to happen in the 30 minutes we have them. Okay, practice is essential for their success. I can't say that enough. Practice, practice, practice. And please don't let them quit. Please don't let them quit. We have out in the lobby, some folks from DSOMA are here volunteering and helping us out tonight to make sure you get that parent form and any other questions answered. They are, in essence, our booster group. They provide us with volunteers. They provide us with brand new instruments so that we have more instruments that we can loan out to our students. They provide us with transportation. They put on concerts. They just really help so much. If there's anything you can do that you know, maybe you're in the PTO or PTA at your school and you're one of those folks that likes to be involved, we love that. DSOMA, Davis School Orchestral Music Association, they always need more hands. And maybe you can bring cookies to the concert, or maybe you can help wrangle some kids backstage. Whatever your talent is, please share it with them because they share with all of our children, okay? And they are terrific folks. Before you go, make sure you've completed the parent meeting form. We are going to linger on the stage to answer any individual questions you have. That is all the information we really wanted to share with you guys tonight. We are always happy to answer your emails, and we appreciate you as our partners in this magical endeavor called learning an instrument. So thank you so much for coming tonight.